Hello guys, welcome to Small Samuel Math tutorial. So today's lesson will be doing the cosine rule, and I'm also going to share some tricks or the ways of how do we solve the cosine rule. Right. So let's start with the business of the day. So in any triangle ABC, we are given what? Can you say this formula? We are given three formulas from the same triangle but with different formulas, right? So let me explain these formulas. The first formula is what? It's a squared is equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc. When 2bc multiplied by cosine of a, right? So when do we use this formula of a squared is equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of a? We use this formula whenever we are calculating what? The length, right? So whenever you need to calculate a length, you are going to use this formula. So it means maybe you'll be given, for instance, you'll be given A, B, and then you're instructed to calculate what C, or you are given the value of B, C, and the cosine of angle A, and then you're instructed to calculate what A, or you'll be given A and B or A and C and you have to calculate what B, but then you have an angle, right? So meaning in simpler terms, to use this formula, you must at least have what? Two sides and the angle which is included. So meaning whenever I say two sides, it's either going to be BC and the angle which is included, and then you're going to calculate what? A, or you'll be given A, B, and the angle which is included, and you're going to calculate what? C, right? So that is when we are going to use this formula, right? So let me explain this formula a little bit. We can see that we are given A, right? Can you see where A is? Let's go to our triangle. Can you see that A is here, right? And this A is opposite to what? It's opposite to this angle here, which is angle A. And if you can check, we have what from that A, whereby A squared is equals to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine of angle A. So meaning they take what? The angle which is opposite to the side, right? So, and also again, what about BC? How can you say that, okay, which angle should I choose? Correct. Can you see BC? We have B here and we have C here, right? And then BC, they form which angle? You can see that if we have to draw like a V, BC form, can you guys see that BC it forms what? This angle what? Angle A, right? And this angle A is opposite to what? To A. So that's why we have A squared is equals to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC, which is this two side which they form what? That angle A, right? We'll come to this cosine of A. Now let's go to the second equation of B squared. If you can check B squared, it's given by what? It's B squared is equals to C squared plus A squared minus 2AC cosine of B, right? So meaning, if you can check here, we have an angle which is B. So if we have an angle which is B here, so meaning from the outside, which is the small letter B, which is represented by what? The side. So meaning from the B squared here, B squared, this B, it's represented by what? By the length of here, meaning it's opposite to what? To this angle, which is what? Which is B, right? So how do you use this formula? You can see that we are given B squared is equals to C squared plus A squared minus AC cosine of B. How do you know that? You must write cosine of B, right? So can you guys see A, C, I mean, can you guys see C? Yes. And what about A? We can see that A is here, right? They form which angle? We can see that C and A, they form what? They form this angle, which is angle what? Which is angle B, right? So In simpler terms, it means that this these two lengths which they multiply by 2, it wants that directs you to know which angle you must choose. For instance, can you see that 2 PC? We can see that we have two lengths which is B and what C. Ne? So these two lengths are the ones which direct you which angle you have to choose. Also, can you see BC? Yes, BC. It forms BC. It forms which angle? Angle A. That's why we have angle A here. So now we come to this one, which is negative 2AC. Can you see AC? Yes, yet AC. AC form which angles? It forms angle P. That's why we have angle P. And if we have angle P here, from outside we must have what? The side which is opposite to angle P, which is small letter P, right? And then now we come to negative 2AB. Can you see negative 2AB? It forms which angle? AB, it forms which angle? It forms angle C. That's why we have angle C, right? And then this angle C is opposite to what? Is opposite to which length? It's opposite to C, right? Which is here. That's why we have C here. So do you guys, it's simple. So meaning in simpler terms, if you need to cram it, if you wrote C squared here, like if you wrote C squared here, meaning your angle has to be what? It has to be C, right? And then after writing C, then you need to check the length, the two lengths which form what, which form that angle, and we can see that here it's what, it's B and A, right? So now we have already talked about this formula. So like I said, B squared minus B squared is equal to C squared plus A squared minus 2AC cosine of B. We use it when we calculate what, the length, right? So meaning also this one we use it when we calculate what, the length. So now let's talk about the cosine of A. When do we use this formula? Cosine of A, we just derived this formula of A squared is equals to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine of A. It is the same thing, but then this one we derive it so that we can be able, so that it can be easier for us to calculate what, an angle. So meaning we are going to use this formula whenever we need to calculate what, an angle. But if you feel like you're going to forget this formula, you can just cram the first one. You can also use it. But then this one, it was derived so that it can be simpler for you to do what, to calculate an angle, right? So as we now know these formulas, I feel like we have covered almost everything. So now let's do the examples and see how do we apply those formulas in the examples, right? Okay guys, so let's now do the examples solution. The first one, it says show that cosine of theta is equals to x squared plus 3 all over 4x. So what is the trick here? So the trick is, guys, from the cosine and sine rule, the questions that are going to come, you need to check. Whenever they say cosine of theta, just know that you need to use what? Whenever they say like show that the cosine of theta is equals to this term. So meaning you need to use what? The cosine rule. And if the question said show that the sine theta is equals to this term, so meaning you're going to use what? The sine rule, right? So that is the trick or the thing that you need to know whenever solving this kind of equation. So now the question says show that the cosine of theta is equals to x squared plus 3 all over 4x. I said we are going to use what? Because there's a cosine of theta, therefore we're going to use the cosine rule, right? So the cosine rule, our cosine rule is going to be cosine of, they're talking about what? The theta. Where's the theta here? Here it is this theta, which is what? Our theta is q is equals to, therefore remember after writing this q, we need to find the two length which form what? Which form this angle. It's a what? We can see that it's a length of PQ and the length of QR. We can see that PQ and QR, they form what? Angle Q, right? So we're going to write them. We're going to say PQ squared plus QR squared minus, okay, minus what? Minus, then you check, okay, as I've already used those, or as I've already wrote those two lengths which they form the angle, which side is opposite to that angle? And we can see that the side which is opposite to that angle is what? It's PR, right? So therefore we're going to subtract with 8. So in simpler terms, to cram this formula, you just write, after writing the angle, and then you check, okay, which two sides form that angle, and then you add them, and then you're going to subtract by what? By that opposite side of what? Of that angle, right? You can cram it that way. And then we are going to have what? 2 multiplied by what? PQ and QR. The length, the two lengths which do what? Which formed the Q, right? Or which formed the angle, which is PQ and QR, right? So now we know that our cosine of Q is what? Is theta is equals to, what is PQ squared? You can see that PQ squared is equals to 2x squared plus QR squared. Q is 3r, QR is 3, therefore 3r squared minus, what is PR? PR is x squared all over 2 into the PQ is what? Is 2x, and QR is what? Is 3, right? Then simplify, we're going to have 4x squared plus 9 minus x squared, right? All over 4 and then it's going to give us 12x, right? So now we can see that we have the like terms, then it's going to give us 3x squared plus 9, right? So after here we can do what? We can divide by what? By 12x, sorry. Then after here we can do what? We can take out 3 as a common factor. Therefore we'll be left with x squared plus 3 all over 12x, right? So we can see that 3 divided by 12 is going to give us what? 3 divided by 12, let me check, 3 divided by 12 is going to give us 1 over 4. So in simpler terms, we have what? X squared plus 3 all over 4x. Then we did prove, sorry for that, we did prove the cosine of theta, right? So now as we are done proving this, now we go to the second question. So I'm just going to erase here because of the space. Okay, now we saw that the cosine of theta, we did prove that the cosine of theta is equals to x squared plus 3 all over 4x. So the second question says, if x is equals to 2.4, calculate theta. So meaning we're going to write the thing that we proved. So guys, if like let's say these questions come in your exam, you don't have to get it wrong. Because of what? Even though you are not able to prove that cosine of theta is equals to x squared plus 3 all over 4x, right? For the second question, you can use this one which they gave you to prove, and then to solve what? To solve for theta, right? So now if we solve for theta, we are going to have it's going to be cosine of theta is equals to, where we see x, we're going to replace it with what? 2.4, right? So it's going to be 2.4 squared plus 3 all over 4 into 2.4, right? Therefore, the cosine of theta is going to give us 0.9125, right? So remember, we are not done solving for theta. Remember they said solve for theta. So therefore, how do we solve for theta? Let's we have cosine of theta here. We are going to have theta is equals to the arc of cosine into 0.9125. I hope you know how to solve for theta when you are given something like this. Now, and then our final answer is going to be 24.15 degrees. Therefore, we are done solving for the second question. Now, let's go to the third question, which is calculating the area of PQR. Okay, guys, now the third question says calculate the area of PQR. I know that most of the people get this question wrong, right? They don't know how to calculate the area of triangle, right? So if we check our triangle right here, guys, now let me erase this thing first. Okay, now how do we calculate the area of a triangle? We can see that we don't have height here. Remember, we're going to use that formula of area is equals to 1 over 2 multiplied by breadth multiplied by height, right? So now the formula that we are going to use here, the area of triangle PQR is equals to, let me write it down, I'll explain it, is equals to 1 over 2 PQ multiplied by QR multiplied by what? The sine of Q, right? So how do you know that you need to write this formula like this? Ne? So remember, guys, whenever we're calculating the area of a triangle, we're using what? The area of a triangle, it was 1 over 2 breadth multiplied by height, which these two sides are what? We can also call them the length, right? So even here, guys, we have two lengths. We have the length of PQ. Can you see the length of PQ? It's here. Can you see the length of QR? It's here. And then sine of theta, meaning we used what? This angle. How do we know that we need to use that angle? You can see that PQ, it forms what? PQ and QR, they form what? Angle Q, right? So meaning whenever you're calculating the area of a triangle, you need to check which values are you given. For instance, we can also write the area of triangle PQR like this, whereby it's 1 all over 2, and then we take this side, which is PR, we multiply by this side, which is RQ, right? Therefore, multiply by sine of which angle? We check, okay, we used PR and RQ, and then PR and RQ, they form what? Angle R. Can you guys see it? So meaning we're going to have angle R here, right? And the last one, we're going to have the area of triangle PQR, which is equals to 1 all over 2, and then we can use what? We can use PR, which is here, right, guys, and PQ, right, and PQ. Therefore, we multiply by sine. And how do we choose an angle? We check. We used PR and what? And PQ. And then PR and PQ, they form which angle? We can see that they form angle P. Right. So these are the three formulas that we have whenever we want to calculate the area of a triangle. But then which one do you choose, right? That is the good question. So now you check, okay, can I use this one of, let's start with this one of the area of triangle PQR for the third one. It's 1 over 2 PR and then PQ sine of P. Do you have angle P? No, we don't have, meaning we are not going to use this one. Then we go to the second one. Do you have the area of angle R? Do you have the value of angle R? No, we don't have, so meaning we're not going to use this one. Do we have the area of angle Q? Yes, we do have the area of angle Q. The value of angle Q. Do you have the value of PQ? Yes, we do. Do you have the value of QR? Yes, we do. So now it means we can do what? We can use this formula to calculate what? The area of angle PQR, right? So let me just erase these few things. Okay, yes, let's now continue. Therefore, remember now, what is our PQ? What is the value of PQ? Before we can continue, we can see that the value of PQ is what? Is 2x, right? Can we find and when we were told that if x is equals to 2.4, calculate q, so meaning where we see x we can replace it with what? 2.4, so meaning we're going to have 2.4 here, and then for 2.4 we're going to have, it's 4.8 if I'm not mistaken, right? And then now we come to QR. We can see that our QR is equals to what? We are sorted with QR is equals to 3. So now we can calculate. We are going to have, let me do this. We are going to have 1 all over 2. What is our PQ? Our PQ is 4.8. Right, our PQ is 4.8. And then what is our QR? Our QR is 3. Sine of, what is our theta? We did calculated our theta and we found that it was 24.15 if you still remember, right? And then after we'll find that our answer is going to be 2.95 because of its area, and we are not given the units, the SI units. We can use what? The units per, right? Therefore we are done solving for those questions. So you saw that, guys. Okay, for dealing with the cosine rule, it's very simple. If you understand the formula, like if you can interpret the formula, and then you are fine with solving the cosine rule. And lastly, like I said, whenever doing the cosine rule and the sine rule questions, like in the exam, kindly check what the examiner is trying to ask you. Like I said, whenever he said, like he says or she says, show that the cosine of theta is equals to something. From the first question, the thing that you need to do, therefore it means you're going to use what? You must use what? The cosine rule. And whenever you see sine theta is equals to what? You must use what? The sine of theta. And we also saw that, okay, how can we calculate the area of triangle PQR, right? So if you have any question, you can leave a comment behind. Thank you, guys.